And now we've got a massive AMD update for you, starting with the RX 9070 XT being priced at $599, and the vanilla model, the RX 9070, at $549. This is from Video Cards. Let's see what we got here. Let's look at these specs here. The XT model has 64 RDNA compute units, hardware RT accelerators. Uh, AI accelerators is at 128 versus 112 for the vanilla. You only get 56 compute units and RT accelerators in the vanilla 9070. Peak AA tops, we get 1557 tops versus 1165. Boost clock, 2.52 gigahertz for the vanilla, 2.97 for the XT. Both get 16 gig of RAM. But total board power is going to be 220 watts for the vanilla and 304 watts for the XT model. Looking good. Has AMD listened to the community? It's not for us to judge, but for reviewers and most importantly, consumers, the latter are clearly dissatisfied with NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 50 series. Yeah, which did not deliver substantial performance, had several problems at launch, and by far the biggest problem, there's no way to buy these cards at MSRP unless they are randomly selected and have been waiting in queues for weeks. But AMD's solution was to wait out the RTX 50 launch and build up stock and optimize drivers. The result is that AMD can promise good supply at launch and more games supporting FSR4 at launch, the latest version of upscaling and frame generation tech, which is sadly only supported on RDNA 4 series. AMD lists four main features: third generation ray tracing accelerators, second gen AI accelerators, enhanced media engine, and future ready tech. AMD is also confirming that the compute units has changed since RDNA 3, and there is an enhanced memory subsystem, improved scalar units, dynamic register allocation, and increased CU efficiency and clock speed. Specification wise, we've already gone through that. Um, but AMD has presented new slides, this time including the RTX 5070 Ti graphics card. AMD is claiming 2% lower performance compared to the RTX 5070 Ti at MSRP and 2% high performance when overclocked. So those slides have been updated. Again, I'll have the links to the description to this article. AMD is promising, though, a 42% increase of the 9070 XT over my darling right here in Edna, the GRE 7900 at 4K with Ultra, for crying out loud. The 9070 vanilla model has a 21% advantage over the same card. So I am really thinking about buying one of these to replace the GRE. And I'll either sell the GRE or put it in Eisen in the living room. I haven't decided yet. Eisen has an RX 6600 in it right now. So I don't know. I'm torn. Do I sell the GRE to recoup some of the investment and some of the money that I spent to get a 9070 XT? Or do I keep the GRE and put it in Eisen and then just, pawn off and sell the 6600 for a couple $100? So it's one of these things I got to decide. How much money do I want? Do I want a couple $100 or do I want $500 for the GRE or something like that? You know, it's a balancing game. I'm either going to end up with $200 if I sell the 6600 or 500 for the GRE. That's pretty much the general going rate for these GPUs on the used market. So, man, I'm kind of torn on what to do here. AMD is confirming that the 9070 series will launch tomorrow, officially March 6th, and will cost $599 for the XT and $549 for the vanilla model. But I'll be honest with you, it looks like a cannibalization is a given. You might as well just spend the $50 and walk away with an XT model. I mean, to me, the vanilla 9070 just isn't there. If it was $100 cheaper, if it was $449, then yeah. But at $549, it's toast. It's buried. It's cannibalized. It's not going anywhere. It's gonna it's gonna sit on the shelf. People are happily going to spend the extra $50 for the XT. Now, if AMD wanted to sell more vanilla 9070s, $449 should have been the price all along. But they might wise up. They might wake up and wise up and say, "Hey, these things ain't moving." You know, like Braunschweiger in the deli counter. Those rolls of Braunschweiger liver sausage, they don't freaking move. They really don't. Anyone that's ever worked a grocery should know that. Anyway, like and subscribe. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not done yet. That's not all. I've got another update for the RTX. Oh, okay. Almost transitioned into my so long, but we're not done yet. I forgot I had extra links in my tab. Another one from Video Cards. AMD says the Radeon 9000 series are optimized for UEFI only systems. That means CSM is no go. If you are using Legacy or CSM, time to turn it off. Yes, sirs. If you're still using older hardware that doesn't support full UEFI mode, you should think twice before buying an RX 9000 series card. The market transitioned to UEFI some time ago, but there are systems out there still using CSM legacy mode, both of which no longer will be correct for the Radeon RX 9000 series. Only in full UEFI mode will the RX 9000 series take full advantage of technologies like resizable bar, that's known as SAM, Smart Memory Access, on AMD. UEFI also brings certain features to systems, including improved security and the ability to boot from NVMe SSDs. However, here's another thing that you get over UEFI over CSM is fully specified interfaces that ensure interoperability and testability, dependable firmware updates from the internet with minimal user interaction. You get support for hard drives larger than 2.2 terabytes. In fact, if you convert to GPT, if you get away from NBR and stick with GPT, oh boy, we're talking petabytes. You can have drives in the petabytes without having any problems. You get support for many new PC hardware, including NVMe SSD boot support, Windows secure boot for malware prevention, faster shutdown, startup, sleep, and resume times. So yeah, AMD is not saying that you won't. Hold on, AMD is not saying that you won't boot with CSM legacy BIOS. However, performance and support will not be guaranteed. I honestly think they should just do away with it. The chances are that when upgrading to a $550 RDNA 4 GPU, it wouldn't make much sense to pair it with an older system that doesn't have a UEFI compliant BIOS. We dug through RX 9000 documents and only found requirements for smart access memory technology. It requires at least a Ryzen 5000 CPU, a 64-bit operating system, a GISA 1.1.00, and a UEFI-only system with a bug 4G decoding enabled in the firmware in the BIOS. But still, it needs to go away. Legacy CSM needs to disappear. completely and irrevocably. It needs to go away. And and if you're saying, well, what about these institutions that are still using older software and stuff like that? Docker containers. Seriously, there's all, businesses and universities and schools and any institution on the ball with modern technology don't even bother. Don't even bother with Windows 7. They don't even bother with CSM and legacy. They moved on to Docker containers. That's your best bet. Let's see what some of the comments. Thrak Dark said, "Holy moly, good thing I read here." So on an LGA 775 CPU, what's a top card to get? Yeah. Anyone who's still using a motherboard that defaults to CSM really needs to upgrade their CPU before they think about buying a new GPU. Well, that's not all. That's not the only problem. If you're still in CSM, you need to convert your hard drive from NBR to GPT so that it will no longer boot in CSM. That forces you to disable CSM and move to UEFI. You got to make sure that you have a UEFI compliant GPU, which is going to be anything from the NVIDIA 500 series onward. You need to get away from all that. BIOS updates. Another thing is any BIOS update for any modern motherboard released after October of 2021 or 22, it's right when Windows 11 was released. Every BIOS update from that October onward now defaults to UEFI mode, and the mixed modes of CSM and UEFI gone. Modern motherboard supports that anymore. If you update to a BIOS from October 2021, 2022 onward. And so, yeah, you really need to get on the ball. Getting UEFI to work in a system today, getting your hard drive converted to GPT, making sure Windows works, and configuring your system. A lot of this is also required to get Valorant, to play Valorant. It's not hard. It's not difficult. Plenty of YouTube tutorials on the subject. And I got one final update for you here from WCC Uptech. AMD's Radeon RX 9060 XT will come in both 16 gig and 8 gig models, similar to the 5060 Ti. AMD's Radeon RX 9060 XT services in the EEC listings, revealing 8 gig and 16 gig configurations. While it seems like the mainstream GPU segment race is very much up and running, and with the unveiling of the 9070 series, the balance is definitely tilted towards Team Red. However, details surrounding AMD's budget-oriented 9060 lineup are slim for now, apart from the EEC listings from Acer, which shows the existence of a 9060 XT, which will come in 8 gig and 16 gig models. But I tell you what, man, 8 gig is, the sweet spot. The sweet spot for GPUs is definitely going to be a 16 gig. I mean, the more VRAM you have, the better. 12 gig isn't too bad. But man, 16 gig. Man, that's what you really need. So yeah, lots of details. I know I said that UEFI is that CSM is a no-go, but apparently it'll probably work. It's unfortunate, really. God, that disgusts me. And I'm sound off below in the comments, because there are some purists out there that absolutely positively adore CSM legacy and just they just shy away. But the thing is, a lot of those purists are running systems that could perform a hell of a lot better if they would just convert over to UEFI, convert to GPT, and enable resizable bar, all that stuff. Sound off below in the comments. Like and subscribe to Gonzo Media. We'll see ya in the next one.